All right, we are live, and good evening, everybody. This is Andre, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Just wanted to get ready to let you guys know we're going to be going over how to prepare for your company event because it's kind of funny. We're basically the week ahead right now for our personally ourselves get ready for our own company event. So that's just a little some insights we're going to be sharing as far as what to exactly how to pack, even what to eat as well, and then, just to get yourself ready because there is a pretty much if you have your own company event or if you haven't been to one, it'll be a pretty cool routine you can get into. So it's not really that stressful as far as okay, what should I bring? What as far as okay, should I bring this or should I not bring this? And then we know as far as you're going to do so much as far as the particular airline you use as far as the weight limit as well. But again, we're going to be mentioning all this here later on in this webinar. So without any further ado, just want to go into introduce my other business associates as well. Start with Miss Patricia Henry out there in California.
Yes, hi everybody. This is Patricia Henry, as Andre mentioned, and I think an echo. All right. Um, anyway, I live in Victorville, California, and I'm a blogger and an internet marketer. So we partnered actually at an event, Andre, Neil, Ian, and I. So we do these weekly hangouts on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, every Friday we get together. So that's who I am. I am a wife. I have a husband who works so hard, and he's my why of why I'm in this business, doing this, and making money online so that I can eventually retire him. But yeah, we have an exciting little topic here about how to prepare for events that we all go to for our company events and businesses.
Hey there, my name's Neil Hanson. I currently live in the UK, so when I have to go to my company events, it's actually a little bit longer for me to travel because I have to catch a couple of planes, sometimes up to three. And like I say, I don't like traveling heavy anyway. I always like to travel light, so I try to take as minimal amount of things as possible. But no matter where you are or what it is you are aiming for, just just know that it is possible as long as you set your mind to it. Getting to Vegas. I've been to Vegas earlier on this year. I've been to Nashville earlier on this year. And like I say, company events are an absolute must. And if you set your mind to it, there is no reason why you can't actually achieve it. And like I say, me getting from the UK to the US, it's a great deal of time. I think it took me 28 hours when I went to Vegas a little bit earlier on this year, and it took me 18 hours getting to Nashville. So it's not exactly a short haul flight, but that in itself is often enough reason for people to say, I'm not doing it. It's too far, it's too much, can't do it. And at the end of the day, the amount of things that you get from the company events is absolutely astounding. It's being surrounded with like-minded people. Nobody's there to tell you you can't do this, and it's not possible. Everybody's there for the same reason. They have the same vision, they have the same goal, same desire, and a lot of people are there to help you too. So you could go up to someone and just say, I don't know how to do this. And often enough, I mean, I met Andre, I met Patricia, and I met Ian. Every single one of them at a company event. And all it took was me. I think Andre, I met. It was literally 2 minutes. It was just as I was leaving to come home from Las Vegas in January, and I literally we were just in the reception in the front, and it just took a chance meeting, just me saying hello to Ian. Ian was with Andre, and it was literally just a passing hello, and I was literally gone 5 minutes. That's all it took. But that has led to us actually meeting and getting on a hangout. So it just shows that's all it takes. Everybody's there to try and help you. That's the greatest thing about these events. I'm sorry if I keep going on and I'm sort of a bit off on a tangent, but everything about going to an event, it's just what you need to take yourself to the next level. It'll drill home what your why you want to do this. It'll intensify your desire, your hunger, and you'll meet so many more people that you can start brainstorming with and just helping you get to the next level. Because since I've actually met these three, Ian, Andre, and Patricia, I've actually felt myself pushed to the next level, because I've had to, it's forced me to get out of my shell and forced myself to get comfortable with being on here. Because if it hadn't been for meeting Andre at the event with Ian and meeting Patricia as well, I certainly would have taken a lot longer to get online. And that's the thing about events, it forces you to become, it's what you want to do, but when you've got somebody there to hold you accountable. And that's the thing about events, it pushes you to the next level, and you see things so much more differently. And once you push yourself past that mindset, it's very hard to go back. You can push yourself so much further than you think you can, but that's what it is about events. It's just the energy in there just gives you something else. That it's almost like being on a trampoline and you trying to reach for the stars. You can't do it whilst you're on the ground, but if you jump on that trampoline, you will get a lot higher than what you would do if you just tried otherwise. So it intensifies things, it pushes you to try a lot harder, and you just see things a lot clearer. So that's just my little takeaway from getting to company events. And like I say, it's just something you need to do. So that's just my little takeaway for the moment.
Before we get on the way to, and this is going to be pretty much, again, and Neil's right on point as far as mentioning all that. This is going to be kind of a little bit around the lines of what Patricia wanted to do, because I know she was been excited about this. But again, right before we get this, pretty much she just goes and just lays out the kitchen sink on you guys. This won't be so much as far as talking about, basically exactly about our company. And yes, it is true that we are building a business online too, but it's more so just a fun topic though. It's as far, again, how to prepare for a company event. First thing first, get there to your company event. It doesn't matter how any ways necessary. I know you probably heard it from other leaders if you have not within your company, or again, if you're thinking about joining the company, that's the most important, crucial thing. You got to get around like-minded people, because again, that's how we all met. The other person that we were talking about, Ian Clark, he's the youngest one of our panel as well, and that's how I first met him late last year at our company event. It was late in October. Same thing as Neil, obviously a few hundred miles away, coming from the UK, first time ever flying over to the US as well. So again, that's a whole nother topic in itself too, as far as overcoming those type of odds as well. This is pretty much the little voices that he had, maybe the doubt, the fears, whatever. And once he did that, to be honest, to just be straight up with you, last two events has not been the same ever since. That's what happens when you get around like-minded people too. They basically uplift as far as your goals, your dreams that you want to accomplish as well. And then, like Neil mentioned, you get out of your shell as far as that. So again, first thing first, get there to your event. We have one in Vegas. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got to get there. So it's crucial, not so much for the company, for yourself, more importantly. Because, I mean, how important are your dreams? That's what you really have to come and ask yourself when it comes to that as well. So I just think, and you should see it as this basically almost like a giant family reunion when it comes to it. Since we do build our business online, you get a chance to meet people face-to-face, too. And then you can see, okay, this person, the same way how they are online, I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm just basically the same type of way anyway, online or offline or in person. It doesn't really matter. So that's just, again, a little bit of a spiel of myself as well, too, as far as just get out there and just go and get in there for starters. So, all right, with that being said, go ahead, Patricia. Let's go on with the list you wanted to mention as well. We just basically, Neil and I basically just fill in as far as whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, I have a quick question, Andre, for our viewers. Here, if you wanted to mention that at the call to our time, of course, a little bit after that right now, and for our company event, if they click the link, I believe there's a deadline. If you wanted them to know that, did you want to?
Oh yes. I'm glad you brought it up too. Yeah, paying attention, we have a deadline as far as. And I'm going to tell you the price right now is real cheap for our company event. It's $97. Trust me, that's about as cheap as it gets for company events. I'm talking about the major ones, not so much your your regional events, or the ones that you maybe have like every weekend. Because the reason why this is so crucial is because basically the owner of our system that we have, the owner of our company basically decided, all right, let's basically put our minds together and do something real big. Because the system that we have, once you do join us below, is called iPass 2. That's the system to help us within our main company, which is Empower Network. And the reason why this is so crucial is because we've been having, like, be honest with you, like kind of like different cultures within the business. Nothing as far as like anything negative in a sense, but you can tell the culture is just a little bit different. Then they weren't out of whack. But now Chris Jones, who's the owner again of iPass, and David Wood, and the owner of Empower, they decided this to basically put their minds together and was like, all right, let's do something real big, and let's get what you're doing and then get what I'm doing. Let's put it together, and let's have everybody within our company join us. This is crucial because right now the tickets will go off sale here tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So basically, just hey, get in, join us, and we'd like to see you down in Vegas here next week, and that'll be from July 31st to August 2nd. And again, like I said, that's what happens when you immediately join our team too, so we can get ready to see you too, and we can see you in Vegas, because this is something really, really big. Let me just put in this perspective for you. When a company owner basically says, I want to have the richest team in the network marketing profession, and I want to create 100 millionaires a year, that's how big it is. Now, obviously, income disclosure, check it up below too, because obviously results are not typical, but they are very possible. That's his vision for this company too, and he will do it. If no ifs, ands, or buts, he will do it with or without you. That's just the bottom line. So that's where his mindset is too. And Chris Jones is more than welcome that idea. It already has too. It took iPass, if I'm not mistaken, I think four and a half years to actually pass, so it can be good to go, because they went to some testing or whatever. So it took them a while to just basically have everything pretty much the I's dotted, T's crossed, just to be the main system, and it is the only system for Empower Network. So that's how crucial this is. And again, you might be asking, what is it? As far as a better way to basically brand yourself or brand your business, your products or your products or your services online. That's when it comes down to our company too. So it's basically, again, like we just mentioned, our company and then the system. And right now, pretty much, since the time is running out, we got literally less than 6 hours. 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. That's when the tickets will go off, only $97. It's about as cheap as it gets right now, especially a week before a main event too. Yeah. So we love to see you up there in Vegas with us. So go ahead, Patricia.
And the good thing is, I bought my ticket at the last event. So we know when we buy them, they go up and up and up and up. And the reason why David wanted to do what he did is so that people can afford the tickets, and especially because they're doing it last minute. If they buy the tickets, they would have to buy the airline plane ticket. That would cost a lot of money last minute, and just arrangements. So he just wanted to make it so affordable that people could come and enjoy what we enjoy at our events. And I'll get started with a few things, and you guys could go over this. Let's take three at a time. The first thing that I thought of were directions to the event. Now, what are you saying, directions to the event? I already have the address. I already have everything. But for me, what I did, most of the places that we go are usually new places that most people have never been. I had never been to Lake Las Vegas before. I'd been to San Diego, but not to the event. That was I think the second or third event that they had. And of course we went to Nashville, and what I did, I took my video out or my camera, and as I went to different places, I would photograph where I was or make a video of where I was, and then that way people that were going to have yet to come to the event, because I got there about 4 days early. I had come in with someone else, and they wanted to get there early, and I did too, so I put, of course, it on Facebook and social media, and they followed me along, and I got so many compliments and comments about, oh, thank you, Patricia, for posting this, because, you know, in their mind's eye, they have no idea of what things look like, you know, what the airport looks like, where to get the shuttle bus, where to pick up. So now when they saw that on there, they immediately, boom, that's where Patricia did it. You know, if they decided to take that shuttle that we took to Nashville. So that just is a great help to people. And that's what I love to do. And then your ticket, you know, your airline ticket, your plane ticket, you know, some of these things might be very obvious that I'm mentioning, but how many people have rushed out, caught an early flight? Okay, maybe they have their plane ticket they got on, but they forgot maybe their event ticket, or they forgot something essential. And you might think that you have to have your ticket in hand, the physical ticket printed out, which is obviously a good thing to have, but you also have those little mini, what do they call them? The drivers, you know, where you can offload your information onto that.
USB.
Your USB, yes, there you go. You know, thank you. You can put it on there, and then they could look that up. Or the last time what I did, I wrote it on my arm. I wrote it on my arm. I showed it to the person at the desk. You know, we had the frontline desk that was using it, and it was right there on my arm. She looked at my arm and read it and keyed it in. You know, of course, you know, my ID, and voila, there it was. So you just, you know, that was my little tattoo for the day. And the third thing I'm going to mention, like I said, I have about 21 items here, but is networking skills. Once we get there, what do we want to do? Like Neil mentioned, you're going to be able to meet leaders or just meet us. I mean, maybe you've been following me online because I just went somewhere and did an errand and talked to a friend of mine who has a business. She has a jewelry business and a store, and she says, Patricia, I want to join your business. So, you know, that's a lead right there, but she wants to join my business, my blogging community. She wants to advertise her business, but she said, I always see you online. So if I had never met her, let's say she lives in the same town that I live in, and like I said, I just went up to see her. But what if I hadn't seen her? What if she was somewhere in England, let's say, or she was in another state here in the United States, and then we met at an event? So how exciting that would be to see her in person, or she would meet me in person. So we'll go with those right there. The three that I mentioned, you know, your directions to it. I don't know, what do you guys do? What do you feel about that? And, you know, your ticket, and of course your networking skills, also that wonderful smile. Because I think it was Andre and Ian, they were sitting down. I walk over, of course I was babysitting at the time, twin boys, and I sat down, and all I could remember is Ian and Andre's smiles as I'm struggling trying to babysit. You know? A friend's twins. They're not my kids. I have no kids. So take it away, guys.
Well, that's another good point too, as far as the networking part. Pretty much what I mentioned earlier too, as far as that's how I first met Ian as well. And Neil was kind of like Ian and I were just about to leave here early in the year for Vegas, and even right as far as like when we met him as well. But it's funny because it's and this is almost kind of goes to like in the story too about the creation of our company too, because David Wood did the same thing with Dave Sharp, who was at the time the co-owner for our company. But what was going through my mind basically through the middle part of last year on to now was doing something live, such as this, doing a live event, you know, doing a live hangout. And when I met Ian too for the first time, I brought it up to him. I think I brought it up to him real briefly in October in our Florida event, and then when we got to Vegas too, we brought it up real briefly too with Neil, because we were literally heading out the door to basically Ian was basically all in as far as doing that as well. And I know like I said, if you just met Neil, I know we brought it up to you real briefly. And two, I guess when we started doing talk to each other online, because Ian and I were basically probably a month and a half in, we were trying to figure out how to do a webinar. Again, this is an important thing too, as far as I see. This is the reason why this is This is why it's important to get to your event, as I mentioned earlier. And what was it? I think a month and a half later, too, Neil came on board, and we just kind of rolled with it. And we had already met Patricia as well, too. I think we brought it up to you as well, real briefly. But when you say you were in the Superwoman group, I'm thinking, okay, she's already a part of a big team already within the company. But I know you say you want to do something as well, real briefly, early in the year. So I think you didn't come on board, Patricia, until like literally, I think it was like a month before our last event, 3 months ago. We just pretty much said, let's just roll with it. And we've been going ever since, too. But look at the connections as you just mentioned. As far as that's the reason why you get to company events. You never know, as far as you meet somebody at an event, how much they could possibly help you. Patricia's already part of a Superwoman group too. That the person that set this up is a part of her group, and I'm talking about Alicia. She's a part of that Superwoman group too. And if I didn't show up to an event, keep on showing up to company events, I would have never met her anyway in the first place. So we're able to connect with each other. So yeah, you're right about that, Patricia, as far as the connection part too, and networking part. Because I mean, as you can already tell, I can go on and on anyway. That's the type of person I am too. So yeah, keep on taking away though. I'm liking these points though.
All right, Neil, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, mine was more about the networking. I mean, directions in itself. I live in the UK, so the thing is, when I was going to Vegas, I was reading about the instructions about how to get to the airport. Sorry, from the airport to the hotel, and it mentioned it was only like 10 minutes away from the airport, and I'm just like, okay, that's fair enough. But see, the thing is, I live in the UK, which is, by comparison, almost like a tiny dot. So when someone says to me, it's 10 minutes away, I just automatically assume it's like a 10-minute walk. I don't know why I didn't put the two and two together. Obviously, I've just not taken into consideration the fact it's America. So when I got there, I was kind of like, thinking, I just asked someone for directions and I'll just get walking. And so I just said to someone, can you tell me whereabouts this Westlake Hotel is? And he says, yeah, it's about 10-minute drive. And I was like, took a step back, hang on a minute, what? And you said it was 10 minutes. I was like, yeah, 10-minute drive. I was like, right, okay. So obviously then it just kicked in. It's like, actually, this is America. So, it's like, actually, to be fair, it was 25 minutes. But it was like, when I'm told it's 10 minutes, when someone asks me for directions here, and I say, yeah, it's just 10 minutes down the road, it's like obviously 10-minute walk. In America, it's always driving. I forget you guys drive literally everywhere because the place is just so big. And it's like we walk. Like me, I walk everywhere. If I could walk, to be fair, my main place, just the local city centre, it's still about a good 20 minutes. That's just driving. So to walk there, it takes about an hour, which I don't mind doing. But to be honest, I'm one of those people who I'd just like to get there. So if I can get there quicker, I will do. But I could walk to my city centre in an hour. I couldn't even walk from your airport to your hotel, and that's probably just down the road. So it's just, it's a mind blow as to how big America is. It was very enlightening as to how big America is. I got my family's been going to America for years, and they've always been telling me about how big it is and things like that. And it's like you can't put it into perspective until you actually go. And that's the thing about events as well. People can tell you about events and how great they are and everything like that, but trust me, going to an event is something else. And like I said, I've been.
And that's a good thing that you're bringing up, Neil, because like I said, from other countries, people don't realize that. I've been to other countries. I've been to the UK. I've been to, like I said again, I used to be a fashion designer, and I've been to London and Paris, and of course they've got great transit systems as well, where you guys have your metros and all that. But you said the distance in America to drive is enormous, and you are wanting to be on time. I mean, not just you, but in business and life, we want to be on time to get places. So I can imagine you go, 10 minutes, and oh shoot, it's going to take me 20 or 30, and you're thinking you can walk. That's a big shock,
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm personally, I'm never late. I hate being late, and it's just not in my nature. I can't be late. But if someone says to me, be there at a certain time, I will be. And I can get from door to door I will get there on time. It doesn't matter where it is, doesn't matter what it is. The only thing that stops me is it's not in my control. So to get to America, beyond my control, I can't guarantee I'm going to be on time. The airport might get delayed. It could take longer to take off. There's a lot of things that are not in my control. So that I can kind of accept that. But if I was to meet someone tonight, you know, straight after here saying I'm meeting someone at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, doesn't matter. I will get there at 1 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter what it takes, I will get there at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's just me. But, you know, another thing about events as well, like when it's quite bizarre how things actually happen. Like I was saying about a chance meeting, I actually met you, I think it was Ian I spoke to first, and it was just a passing comment that I spoke to. I was speaking to everyone out front, and I was just trying to basically get someone, you know, someone's contact details, because I wanted to do a hangout, not just my own, because I thought I needed a partner, someone to try and that we can bounce ideas, kind of like what we're doing now. So we're all talking about experiences, and it makes, you know, if I was just to reel it off what I was talking about, you know, I wouldn't remember half as much as what I would do as if, like, when you guys talking, it's sort of you bounce ideas off each other, and again, that's another thing about events as well. You go there with one experience and one idea, but then you start talking to someone and they start telling you about their experience, what they're doing, and you start bouncing ideas off each other, and it's just, again, it just makes so much more for a better experience. But, you know, coming back to my point when I was on about, you know, events, chance meeting with Andre, 5-minute conversation, if that, basically saying it was just me, literally, I was just about ready to run out the door because my taxi was arriving, and I was just saying, look, I want to get some hangouts going, can I just grab your contact details or something? And he just, yeah. So I just quickly wrote down Andre's email address, Andre's name, and then obviously caught up with him on Facebook. So I got a load of names, a load of email addresses, and then it was just took a chance meeting, and from that it's built into something a lot more. Like I say, met him in Nashville, and we hung out the entire weekend, and we do these weekly hangouts, and you know, it's like it's built into so much more. But another thing, this has not just happened to me once, it happens to me all the time. And I tell you now, this is something that I still think about now. It's still quite baffling. One of my good mates is my best mate. His name's Billy, and this was 2009 when I first started getting involved online. First event I ever got to, it was actually in London, and when I got there, I thought I'll get there for about 11, which I got there for about 11:15, I think it was. And when I got there, I just wanted to go upstairs to my room. So I got there and I started talking, and this guy was at the front. And when I started talking to him, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just there for so and so's event, and he's just like, really? So am I? And I says, yeah, I've just come down all the way down from Nottingham, and I just want to get my head down now. He goes, well, I'm from Nottingham too. Whereabouts are you from? And it was just, you know, I just says exactly where I am in Nottingham, and no word of a lie, the guy literally lives a 10-minute walk away from me, and that was the first person I spoke to when I got to the company event. And since then, it was because all it took is just something that we had in common. Now, in that particular example, it was the fact that we're both from the same city and we're both at the same company event. That's all it took, and that's all it takes. You just have one idea. You could have one idea. You could share a common goal. You could be from the same place. Doesn't matter. All you do is you get one connection with someone. You've got, like, me and Andre. Andre's been wanting to do hangouts. Ian's been wanting to do hangouts. Patricia wants me to do hangouts. That's primarily what I wanted to get to Vegas for. I wanted to get this. I could build some connections so I could start doing this. And look what it's led to. That's what it's all about. You make the connections. You've all got this common goal. You all want to do it, and it just takes a collaborative effort, and that's it. You're off. But like I say, when I met Billy, all it took was just that. And, you know, from there, we ended up hanging out for the rest of the weekend. And then as soon as I got back, I literally, you know, took his phone number, his email address, popped round to him, and me and him have been seeing each other. You know, he's sort of come offline a little bit. It is more a mindset issue when he sort of went off. He couldn't listen to the negativity that was surrounding him. Rather than pile through it or get around better people, he succumbed to that, and ultimately it led him away from what he wanted to do. Now he is coming back round. I am trying to get him to come back round again, but I think he's just still disillusioned about what he wants to do, because he's still got this negative vibe about whatever it was that happened to him. So I'm trying to, you know, bring him back round to that. But he is, you know, it's something that we still do. 6 years on, I'm still best friends with him. And all it took was a literally 2-minute conversation of something that we had in common. So we're both at the same marketing event. We're both from the same city, literally a stone throw away from each other, which the chances of that actually happening is ridiculous, but it happened. And from that, it's led to a great friendship. And in this case, it's led to a great partnership and friendship too. So it's all it is, get to a company event and just surround yourself with people, and you'll meet some people, you'll meet some fantastic people that will just take you to the next level. Now that might not be with your business, that might just be on a personal level. Like I say, I needed to get out of my shell. Same as what we were saying with Ian. Ian wanted to get to an event, and he knew he needed to push himself, and he did that. And now when I seen him back in April, I didn't even see him for the whole few days that I was there, because he was just off. And that's not a bad thing. It was just literally, he was with another set of people. But when I first met him, he just seemed like it was quite, he seemed quite timid, as if like he was living in a shell, and there was something there that it just needed to be unlocked. And that's what I seen when I was in Nashville. And he was just off. So it's like, when we was having our breaks and stuff, I was always, walking around just seeing if he wanted to do something, and he just says, well, I'm just going to go and catch up with them. And it's just like, it was kind of like, well, I'm just going to go, I'm off now. So it's like, oh, fair enough, no problem. But, it was just, it was gone. He wanted to just experience speaking to people, getting to know people, and pushing the boundaries. And, it was just a completely different side to him. And that's another thing about events as well. You often find yourself becoming something you didn't even realise you were. In Ian's case, he's always been quite in his shell. He's not been very, what's the word? Basically, he has been in his shell for quite some time.
Introverted, and we have to, for people who are watching this for the first time, that his family owns a farm. And that's where he grew up, on the farm, working for his father or his parents. And I mean, what do you do on a farm but do the same routine every day? Yes, it's vital of the stuff that he's doing for his family and the business, but like you said, how many of us have grown up on a farm? Maybe we can ask our parents, they've come from that lifestyle, or knew someone, or our grandparents had been in a country life, but none of us, I'm a city girl. I don't have a clue on how to grab an egg, from a chicken, or go collect eggs and stuff like that, other than at a country fair, that type of thing, and go and see the animals that are behind the gates and stuff, or the zoo. But, for a farm, no, I'm not a farm girl. But Ian he came out of his shell, like you said, because of what? A company
event. And I got to add on to this. I can't let this slide, because another thing too, and I can mess with. I love to mess with Ian, love him to death too. But
poor Ian, he's not here to defend himself, but we're building him up, right?
Oh, he'll be able to see the replay of this too, so let him see. But in all seriousness, though, since just real briefly about my background, since I've been playing semi-pro football here the last 8 years too. I played high school and college as well, and for those that are seeing this from out of U.S., I mean American football. But anyway, too, I've always seen a lot of potential as far as great athletes, great teammates I played with. I've been fortunate the last 2 seasons, this past season and last season, I won 2 championships. And one thing that really irks me as far as semi-pro is pay to play. I've been blessed to play high school and college, all 4 years in college as well too. The reason why basically too I'm in the home-based business profession in the first place is to go and play professionally in the first place. But then I started expanding pretty much my own mindset as far as, okay, this is what you can do if you build a business too. And again, that's something all again for later down the road too. My point is too, again, seeing a lot of potential. One thing I knew about Ian is like when we first started, it was really just me and him. And I was like sitting there too, like listening to him, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy has so much potential. I'm like, what is he holding back? I also coached football for a youth football league for 2 years as well. So when I see potential, it's like, oh my gosh, I really hope for people to just get it all out of them. So again, too, Neil is right. Our last event too, He was when Ian was basically hanging around. He was in the part of mastermind group, one of the bigger teams too, another big team within our company called the Unstoppable Team. And it's funny since we were all roommates between Ian, Neil, and I. We was like every time we were looking for Ian, we're like, let him go, because I knew the company he was with. See, I knew the like minds he was with. I'm like, this is probably gonna be his main thing. It's gonna be like his big breakthrough. I already knew it too. So basically after that event too, and this is the reason why I go into events too, since we were all roommates too, since we all met each other in Vegas as well. My intent personally was coming into that event as far as having a whole bunch of list of stuff to just go and start sharing content, what to talk about weekly on our hangouts as well too. And trust me, and it's pretty much from early in the year on, Ian has not been the same because going to events. That's what happens. We have, and again, going back to the income disclaimer, once you click below too, because the results are not typical, we probably have, and they're all on the same team. This is so funny. I mentioned this before. We have 3 guys too. One is a millionaire in our company. The other 2 are high 6-figure earners as well. They're all introverts. Obviously, when you see them on stage, you're like, you got to be kidding me, because you would never thought they were. And they are explosive. And yes, we talk about Justin Barencio, Mike Cobbs, and Paul Hutchins too. All on the same team. All, if you want to say, quote unquote, introverts too. Not when they're sharing as far as their story, as far as how you can break out of your shell. And that's something too. Again, we're blessed to have somebody like Ian too within this panel, because I had a teammate too as well in college who was on a farm. Obviously too, my dad was basically raised in like a lot of farmland as well. So again, not like Patricia, I don't know anything as far as milking cows or anything. I never said I did that, but as far as seeing that, I can see why too, because you're working literally from dawn to dusk, literally. And right now, summertime too, around the world, so that's where his time is spent too. But he wants something better for himself, so he can have, obviously, so he can do things that he wants to do on his own time too. Do whatever he wants to do, basically on his time, basically, and just pretty much enjoy the rest of life too. Jim Rome said it best too, as far as go and live a good life, as far as basically the success of having basically building success. And basically another thing too, as far as when we all connected to our like minds, is when I wanted to start a hangout, I wanted to do it with guys that really never done it before. I was offered from other guys too within our company as far as joining their hangouts. That didn't resonate with me. I wanted just the guys, so I wanted to start from the bottom up. So again, you should have seen Ian and I too. It was hysterical, and then the replay was probably like 3 hours long. We're trying to figure out how to get this thing working. He had it in a replay for I guess we were talking for 3 hours. We were like, here we are shouting in front of the camera as far as this is what we're gonna be doing here in the next few months or whatever. Little let me know. He was like, hey, look at this. Got 20-something plus views on that. I was like, are you serious? We're all laying in the bed like this, trying to figure out what to do. I was like, there are people that actually watch that. No, whether they watch the whole 3 hours, I highly doubt that. If they did, more power to them. But just us ranting and raging as far as what we're going to be doing too, speaking stuff to existence too, and other stuff. And that's another thing too. That by the way, the last event, Neil, we did speak something to existence. Is getting our platform set up for this as well. Again, the reason why I go into company events too. Thank goodness I met Alicia at the middle of last year too for the first time, because she was somebody that again set this platform for us too, because we were like coming into the last event, we're going to get a platform set up for our hangouts, so so it'd be better to serve the people that are watching, and better serve our viewers. That was our intent. We made it happen. I think literally a week before.
Because I said to myself, we're going to have to get her to help us, and sure enough, I talked to you, and you'd already done it. So that is wonderful. We're all in the same mindset, I wanted to go on with what you guys both were talking about. This is was kind of like at the end part, but the other things that I wanted to bring out, well, like I said, I have a whole list here. I have my list, but it says for validation, like when we meet each other, I don't think I'd ever seen you two or you three at all. I met on the event. I didn't even meet you online. So, of course, we made friends online after the fact. We made friends on Facebook and consequently other places. But the thing is, that's what an event is. Again, we've mentioned it so many different times that we would never have met each other. I mean, there's no way. I don't know I don't know your address, Neil. I don't know what city you live in. You mentioned it before, but I still don't know. Where do you live? What city?
I live in Nottingham.
Nottingham. Okay, you did. Okay, yeah. And but I would have never have met Neil. I mean, that's crazy, right? But and Andre, I've been to Florida, but decades ago, going on my way, stopping off just at the airport to go to Jamaica. But the validation of really meeting a person, again, meeting somebody online is one thing. But when you really meet that person and you see who they are and you see how they act, you see if they're phony or you see if they are real. And, whether if you feel that they're real, how do you want to proceed with them? Do you want to do business together? Do you want to go any further with a relationship? It's kind of like you do meet, you're meeting somebody, a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Do you want to go any further with that relationship? Is that person worth your time? You have the same mindset, the same likes, and this and that. Of course, there's 4 of us, so we're getting still to know each other, but I like all of us. I think all of us, and all of us have different characteristics and different strengths and weaknesses that we can bring to the table to help our businesses. So then the other thing is roomies, okay? Roomies or roommates. Like Andre, you brought that up. You roomed with Neil and Ian. I know with my Superwoman group, we have roommates. You can save money at these events when you room together. You can be, say, oh, I want to have a luxury suite all to myself, but what good is that? You can brainstorm together and have mindset masterminds there in a room around your beds, laying on the bed and masterminding all on your computers. I know that's what we do when we get back from an event, and then we pass out, And let me go over a few other things. Like we said, networking skills, okay? That's your attraction marketing. Even though we want to attract people, everybody at the event is already attracted to the event. That's why they're there. But again, because we get to meet different personalities and the leaders, then we never know where that's going to take us. Okay, I want to get to some practical things here. Food and water. You're thinking food and water. They got food and water at the hotel, But when you go to you're in the event, in the auditorium, because we know our company events are kind of long. The first day it goes from from noon or 1 to 12.
Yeah.
And then the second day it goes from 9 to 12, and then the third day it goes from 9 to 12. We're talking about not 12.
Yeah, not p.m. a.m.
Yeah, 12, almost 12 a.m. So that's a long stretch. Of course, we get a break. We can go out to maybe grab a bite to eat. I know one thing about our last event, everything was all inclusive right there. We didn't have to go out to anywhere to go grocery shopping, but just bring some snacks, light snacks if you're at the event. You want to bring water. That's very important. Energy bars, little trail mix, maybe nothing that smells stinky, like that type of thing. But, and that's important. Medicines. If you're on a medication, don't forget to bring and pack your medicines that you may need. And now let's go to the technological paraphernalia. Actually my husband bought for me this week, a selfie stick. Because we're going to be wanting to take all kinds of pictures and videos and things like that. So I've been wanting one, and my husband goes, we had to go to a Verizon store, so I got a brand new cell phone. And he goes, look, there's a selfie stick. And everybody kept saying, well, you can always order them online. I'm not a big online shopper, believe it or not, but he says, there it is, and it was for 29 bucks, and I bought it because otherwise I've seen them cheaper, but by the time you pay for shipping, and I hate shipping stuff, that's one thing I like about our business, a little plug again for our business. We have an online business. We're bloggers, and all of our products are online. We don't have to ship anything. So click the link below, guys. There's a green button there somewhere, and join us. And don't forget to buy that ticket. So once you get in our company, so that you can buy the event ticket and join us. Okay, but back to that, all this technological paraphernalia. So don't forget to bring your cell phones, which are great nowadays. Back in the day, they didn't have a camera. Now they do. You can take wonderful videos with that. Your iPads, your computers, because a lot of times some of the company teams that we have within our company have workshops, masterminds and workshops, and you're going to need your computers and, like I said, your battery packs. And I have one by Mopi, M-O-P-I, I believe. I'm sure there's different ones, and of course you can get them on Amazon and different brands rather. And mine gives me 4 charges. And I tell you, my phone, even though I charge it once, and then I take it down by the top even before the event starts. Now my new phone is supposed to last a little bit longer battery life, but I mean, I'm the kind of person at events, I take a lot of videos and a lot of pictures because we can use these and upload them immediately to Facebook, and we can put them on our blogs later and build stories for our blogging community. But that's something you need. And I think it was Andre or Neil, whichever one you said you made contact with someone else, or I forget who it was, and you got their contact info. Well, sometimes when we're so busy, when you get out your phone, I know me, to get out my phone and type it in, the screen, and it goes back and forth, it's easier for me to just hand somebody a business card still. Hand it to them, and they can just drop it in a bag or put it in their pocket or their purse, whatever it is, and keep on going. Because when they do have the cell phone, you got to stop and type it on, get their last name, but it's boom, it's right there. Hand it to them. You might think that's a little old-fashioned still, but to me that works the best. And then what else was it here? Notepads. When we are at the events, Andre, I noticed you had your ongoing notepad, and when was it Tracy Walker had mentioned something, you just whipped out your old notes that you had at your the last event, and you immediately could go to that. You want to mention that? And of course a pen and several pens, because maybe other people might want to, they forgot their pen, so you could help them out that way. But I'll stop right there. I have a few more things to highlight, but go for that story, Andre.
Yeah, I got to bring that up too real quick. And Neil, you're going to know this as well, since this is one of our mentors as well. Mike Hobbs said this best too, and he got it from one of his mentors. Well, you got to obviously bring that notebook as well. Good if you have a cell phone too, a notepad, whatever, electronically. Those are uncashed checks. That's what we call them. And the reason why too, because you don't know how much value, once you write that down to your notebook, as far as what you can share to your audience too when you get back home after you come back for your company event. It's crucial as far as having stuff written down. Like, for example, since Neil, Ian, and I, since I said we were all roommates last event, we were writing down some stuff as far as what as far as what to talk about for different topics here coming up for the next month and a half leading up to this event. And the thing is, we already had a whole bunch of other notes as well, so we were just all kind of like going over some stuff like, all right, we can talk about this. Now, obviously, times change too, but the most important stuff is what is written down, so you can go back to this and refer to them as well. Sometimes, like from some of the leaders in our company too, they'll mention some stuff, not every time. They'll mention some stuff that's kind of similar. That's what Patricia was talking about as far as what about another. Again, her results weren't typical as well, so you got to see the income disclosure as below. But she was mentioning something that I remember I wrote down the first event I went to. That was 2 years ago in Denver, Colorado. And it was this what happened. It was funny that I had that written down. So I was like, wait a minute, that sounds so familiar what she's writing down. And I was like, looking through, and I found it. And I was like, oh, here you go, write this all down. So this kind of made it easier too for the people around me as well. I did it too the first event in Vegas as well. The table I was sitting around with, I forgot who the speaker was, but I was like, wait a minute. Went to my notes. Here you go. She's gonna say this. Bam, it was all covered. But the thing is too, and this is again different topic for down the road. She stayed consistent with the message, giving it out to the audience. And that's the thing too. But you never know until you get your behind to an event as well. So that's the crucial part as well as about that. So that's something I wanted to share about that with events too.
Yeah. So very good. Now, also, what important about that, though, with our notes that we have to remember that for us, it's our notes, and like you said, uncashed checks that we can write blogs about, or we could do posts about, or even videos about later. The keynote talk, maybe new information, as long as it's confidential. If it's not confidential, we can reveal it. But at events, sometimes they don't want you to record different things. So when I say making videos, for me, when we come upon a leader, for instance, or just one of us, and we, like I said, we hadn't seen each other, or we never met that person, when now we're meeting them in person, whip out that camera and make a video, and don't take much of their time, because they're just as excited about meeting you and meeting other people. Maybe do a quick, of course, ask them, can I do a quick video with you, and introduce yourself, and then introduce them. Highlight a point, maybe if you've been following them, like I say, Andre, if I had been following you for the first time, I'd say, Andre, I love your football videos, and and can you say a word about the event and a little bit about your life, a quick minute video, and then let that person move on to go and do what they want to do too at the event. So, but again, private information, disclaimer, do not, if the company asks you not to reveal certain things, like I know this upcoming event, David Wood has said that, and Chris Jones has said, if you're not at the event, it's going to be zip. We can't reveal certain things. Maybe in the end they'll let us know when we can reveal these things, but that's important. Then what is your intention? Like Neil, I believe you mentioned that, and Andre too, your intention. Why are you there? Why are you actually at the event? We know you're there because you want to get some value out of it, and it's going to be beneficial for your business. But you really have to analyze, why are you there? Obviously to meet leaders, to learn about the new products, to take videos and pictures and all that. But really analyze your event, your intentions, and what you can do while you're there. Like I said, again, meeting people from the very first time I went to an event, I didn't have a camera. I had my cell phone, but I didn't think to take a picture. And one of my really good friends, too, that's in this business, she lives I live in California, she lives in Maine. We are on opposite ends of the United States. Or like I said, Andre, you're all the way there. Can you imagine if I hadn't taken a picture of you guys? Take advantage of the situation. And maybe that person, you may not meet them at the next event. It would be beneficial if we could make all our events, but life happens, and you may not. Like, I haven't seen her since a couple of events ago, and I really wish I had taken a picture with her. That validation that, I'm with my friend, and she helped me, one of the first persons that helped me online, and knowing how everything worked. So that's very important. And before we take a break and discuss some other stuff, I have this thing about bring tissues. Now, you men might not have one of those moments where you're going to cry, but I know that our speakers on stage, sometimes I well up because their stories, their life stories, and how they got in this business are very emotional. But just bring tissues. You never know when you're going to cry. Or you may need to blow your nose. Hey, what the heck? Money and credit cards, okay, to purchase. Now we know Neil has a story about that one, right? You have a story about that one. But, why money? Obviously keep some money on you. You're going to need tips for the hotel and buying little snacks and things like that. And of course, your credit card, obviously, you got to pay for the hotel, and I think you used to could buy tickets at the event, but we know now this time you cannot while you're actually there at the front desk or at the tables that they have set up right before the event, because like we know we have a deadline this today. We have a deadline to buy the ticket. But Neil, do you want to tell about that little story that might help somebody else out? I don't know.
Well, the first thing you've just said it just there, and that is take your credit card, because I had I suppose I would say false perception of the fact that I'd paid for the room online. I thought that it was all paid for, so I remember leaving. I was actually stood in this room, and the credit card is actually right in front of me just here, and I'm just like, I don't need that because I've already paid for the room, so I don't need my credit card because I paid for the room, and the money that Andre and Ian are going to give me is going to see me through as my spending money. So I thought, I don't need my credit card, I won't need my debit card, I won't need that. I've got enough money to survive for a day, which is going to see me through the day. When Andre's going to arrive, I'll finally catch up with Ian, and then we'll sort everything out. So I leave here in the UK, get all the way to Nashville. Like I said, it took me about 18 hours in flight, but then there was the stops in between. So it's about 24 hours in total. So by the time I got there, all I wanted to do was just literally go to bed, because I don't sleep when I'm on the planes. I don't know why I can't. So I'm literally awake for 24 hours unless, well, when I was in Vegas, I was awake for 36 hours because I can't sleep. By the time I get back, it was about 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's like, I'm not going to sleep at 2:30 in the afternoon because it'll just throw my body clock out of whack. So like when I get back, I just literally try and push myself to get back to normal again as quickly as possible. So, but yeah, so I left my credit card here, flew out, got there, only to be told that the credit card I used to purchase, it only purchased the first night. That's it. Now, I was obviously not very happy at this point, and I was very, very. I was actually dumbfounded because I didn't honestly know what to say. I was angry, but then at the same time, I was still rattling brains to think, I've paid for this online, I've told you what date I'm coming, I've told you what date I'm leaving, and I just failed to understand why you've not decided to take the entire lot and you've just taken one day. Now, they said they sent me an email, which I don't recall receiving, so basically I'd had nothing to say, this is just for one day. Or, for me, personally, they could have put on their website, we will only take the first day, you would then need to pay for the rest of it when you get there. Okay, whichever, it doesn't really matter, but the point is, I got there, this is 11 o'clock at night, my two friends who were actually there, who I'm sharing the room with, are not there. Andre was turning up the next night, as we'd previously agreed. Ian would turn up later on that night, but it turns out he was already, well, he'd already been there, but he was turning up later on that night after mine. It was at another team's hotel, because he was actually hosting their own event. So he was with those, and he would turn up about an hour and a half later. Well, it turns out he didn't actually turn up that night because he stopped at their night, because he thought, well, everything's okay, I'll turn up, I don't want to disturb Neil, I'll just stay here and then I'll come back in the next night. So basically, I got to the hotel and it came close. They wasn't even actually going to let me in that night. I was literally going to be without a room for that night. But I just said, look, at the end of it, I've already paid for the room for that night, so let me sleep there, let me get some rest, let me speak to Andre, let me speak to Ian, and I'll try and sort something out. And obviously, fortunately, Ian was actually quite local. I explained the thing, and he was good enough to actually say, you know what, I'll sort it out. And thankfully, he had the money on him, because otherwise, I don't honestly know what I'd done. I had it in my mind that I'd paid for the room, I'd go there, I'd take the money off Andre for his share of the room, and Ian would give me his money for the share, and the money that I had would literally last. Money that I took would last me for the day, and the rest of it I'd spend obviously over the course of 3, 4, I think it was 4 days in total. So that money that I had for one day, it now changed for me having to split that over 4 days, because that's the only money I had. So I had to try and when you was coming back to the food and drink, I was actually saying, well, I'm only going to be able to eat once a day because I literally had such a small bit of money, and I don't like asking for money because I felt I didn't feel it was the right for me to ask to borrow money, considering I thought I already had the room sorted. So I felt bad enough the fact that I hadn't already sorted the room. So I didn't really want to couple that on top of the fact that I have to now borrow money from the people I'm supposed to be taking money from because I should have already paid for the room. So I was literally saying, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to starve. I'm just going to eat once a day. But that one day, after I think it was in between, it was coming up to the last stretch. So before our company founder David Wood took to stage, and obviously we know like David Wood likes to talk, and I made sure I had that that would see me through for the whole 24 hours. So I'd ate quite a lot, and I was just so tired because I'd forced myself to eat so much. So trying to actually eat a lot and try and keep yourself energized, it was quite a task. But well, that's a separate story. But I did that. But this is what I had, the problem that I had to come up against. I had to find Ian to try and help me pay for the room, which I then had paid him back for, of course. But then, the money that I had that would only last me for one day had to then last me for 4 days. And, it was just one thing after another. But, these are the things that
we don't anticipate. Yeah, we don't anticipate these things. These are things that come up that, we, like you said, you were blindsided. You had no idea what was going on, right? Or you just when you think that things are taken care of from the other end. That's why I always like confirmations. I'm a stickler at going overboard and finding out that maybe I'm not understanding things properly, especially if we don't have the experience of traveling a lot. I've traveled everywhere over the world, all over the place, but however, and some things just come at you that you never know of, because there are some hotels that they do, like you said, they take the whole amount, they hold that amount. You cannot spend that. Let's say if you had $500 on your card, and let's say each night it was $100. Okay, you're there for 4 nights. They should have literally taken out $400. Okay, you have $100 on your card left, but that $400 is locked up, and you can't not touch it. You couldn't charge past that because it's going to go to them. Now, some of them just take a deposit, and that's it. And that's what we found out when we got there to Nashville too. They only took a deposit, and they didn't charge us the whole thing. I'm thinking the same thing like you, that they've already charged everything. But it just depends. Everything is a learning experience. But that's why when we do have these events, or people stumble upon this video that they're watching, or see other things about, or see a blog about what we're talking about in preparing for events and going to events, that when they come upon these particular incidents that we've experienced, that they will learn from it, and they'll take this into consideration. Because let's say, for instance, you did make arrangements and someone had an accident, or someone died, God forbid, one of your roommates, and then how would you come up with the extra money? So we know we're all maybe sometimes just fudging it, and maybe we don't have extra funds, but and especially going to a new country, it's not like we would not have trusted you. If you had come to us and said, I mean, even if we didn't know you, that you were in Ian and whatever, I mean, I'm sure we could have put a pool together, we could have helped you out, but think of, who was it that lost their dog, Andre? Vegas, and everybody went out looking for oh man, I can't even think of his name, but he should be our company mascot now, the little bulldog that got lost in Vegas.
Yeah,
and for how many nights people, what was his name?
Abram and Nikki's dog. I don't know the name of the dog.
Yeah, I'm brain dead. I can't think of the dog's name right now, but everybody went out like a mass manhunt, dog hunt for this dog, and I think they found him like 4 or 5 days later, but he was okay, a little scraped up, but we all banded together. And like they said, if you come to a company event, you're not going to be sleeping outside. I'm sure if you had run into someone there, because usually at the hotels that we stay at, every other person that you meet, or every maybe 1 out of 5 people at the hotel or the company event is going to that event, right? So if you had come up upon them and say, I need a place to stay, or can you help me out, or something like that, I'm sure we would have found a way to do so, But I wanted to go on just a few more things, but see, we've all experienced these things, so we know how to handle it. Let's see here. Clothes or sweaters. When you're actually in the auditorium, it's freezing in there. It was cold. I freeze. I don't know how I would live in snow. I would die. I'm more of an island girl. I used to live in Hawaii. I live in the desert here now. I freeze literally at 68 degrees. That is not cold, but for me, I get goosebumps. And when it's anything below 65, and I used to live I was born in San Francisco, and I was always cold. I was always standing by the heater. Mom, it's cold. Can you turn it? She would say, put on a sweater, girl, whatever. So I would die in the snow. I mean, Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, England, I can't do that. Digging snow, no. So in a hotel room, when it is below 68 degrees, my nose is running, like I said, I freeze, I get chills, I got to put on something or have something around my neck. So just be mindful of that. And then when we go to company events, like after, we usually have parties, right? I don't usually go to the parties, but I'll go just check it out and see who was there, take a few snap pictures for, like I said, my blog for that and for branding. Usually you'll see the leaders show up there and everything and take pictures with them, but if you want to change, and you don't want to run upstairs, well, of course, the events or the parties are usually, you don't have to travel too far, but sometimes they're out of the event hotel. So maybe you don't have time, like I said, to go up to your room. You can bring a party dress to throw on, or change a shirt, or do whatever you have to do. You can do that and bring that with you. And I mentioned videos again. Just take tons of videos. Take tons of videos, tons of media, whatever you need with leaders. Go up to them and say, may I take a picture? They're always talking. They're always going to be surrounded with a group of groupies for them, surrounding them. I remember I went to one event, and David Wood had bodyguards, literal bodyguards that looked like FBI. They wore dark sunglasses, and there was a ton of people around him. You couldn't even get next to him. All I did was put up my camera, and I took a picture, a snap, and that's all I could take of him. I couldn't even talk to him, But let's see. Children. Who has brought a child to an event? They're not my children, but I was babysitting for a friend, and we have children. So we have to manage them. I used to do daycare, so that's one thing that I like about what we're doing. We're entrepreneurs. We're freedom. We want to spend time with our children. We want to be able to bring our children with us. If they're not totally unruly, we can keep them in the back of the room where they don't make a lot of noise. We can occupy them with an iPad or games or coloring books or reading material, whatever it takes for that. And of course train them so when they go to a company event that they will know that we're here for business and that we need them to be quiet. Although, like I said, we're not the kind of companies that just out of sight, out of mind for our children. We love them. And a lot of the leaders have just had children who are now about a year old. So, of course, their children, if it's a baby, they're going to cry, but we know that they can go out of the room or out of the event, or they have nannies or babysitters or relatives that can help to take care of them. But we love our children. We love our children. And then, like I said, join our group, Overcoming the Odds. Again, we've mentioned that that's how we met. We met at an event, all of us. So we want you guys to join us. We want you to overcome the odds. Whatever odds you're facing in life, join us so we can share with you these things and help you to change your life and your business. And if you don't have a business, what can they do, guys? Click the link below. And what will we show them? How to do a business and how to make online money or money online. But see the income disclaimer that we have down below so that you could check that out and find out that we're a legitimate business. We're not just a fly-by-night in and out of business. And once again, these events, if you have something that you have to overcome, like your shyness, well, at the events, you're going to blossom like a flower. You know, you're really going to see how these can really change your lives and make your life different if you're stuck in a rut. So in the future hangouts here, together as we are doing every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, you can join us. You can join us here on a hangout. You can be our special guest one day. And Andre, that's about it that I have. Andre and Neil, I went over the list, you know, briefly, the directions, you know, make sure that you can get there, your ticket, don't forget it. Bring your networking skills and your smile. Don't forget about your food and drinks, medicines if you have it, your power packs, all your technological, as I call it, paraphernalia, your cell phones, your computers, business cards, to contact people, your notepads, pencils, and what's your intention for being here and joining us on an event. Bring tissues, money, credit cards, make tons of videos, clothes, sweaters, so you can look cute. Makeup, women, don't forget your makeup. And just join us. Join our group. Click the link below. That's it.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. You covered pretty much, I only had just a few things set up, but you covered them all to the T. One thing, too, about the reason why she's bringing up so much as far as talking about bringing a camera, take videos or pictures, social proof. That's huge, especially in today's time. When the information system, as Robert Kiyosaki's mentioned a handful of times in the Rich Dad series of books, it's the information age. So social proof is huge. We're actually talking to a big-time leader, making it happen within your company too, and obviously the income, their results are not going to be typical, but like as we already mentioned, they are very possible. So that's crucial as well, and that's the reason why too. Not saying too that as far as like wearing stuff to wear, you know, guys, don't forget your underwear, you know, stuff like that, you know, your briefs, whatever. Pack light as well too. I always like to do as far as like just in case emergency type stuff. Maybe a couple other things too, because I know the weight limit now. Since my dad used to work at Delta Airlines, so I mean flying is like my first 20-something years on this planet. I'm already used to, you know, name me an airport in here in the United States I hadn't been stuck on, laid over on. Come on now, stuff in the airports. Hey, when it comes to events, hey, your dreams got to be more important to those little temporary setbacks, as Napoleon Hill's mentioned about that as well. And this is another thing too. We didn't mention for your free gift. Download that free ebook below, because that's what you can go dig deep into as well. Get ready to get on that airplane, or maybe you're riding with somebody carpooling. You get something to read as well too, and you think you can go rich. So that's something I wanted to share. Neil, don't know if you had anything yourself you want to share real quick, leading up to the end here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I actually set off, it's the same with me for anything really, whether I'm going on holiday, especially events. Holidays don't really so much. I have my things of what I want to do. I have things of what I want to take. That's when I'm on holiday. But you know, when I go to an event, the first thing I think about is what I want to achieve from there. That's my focus. So, like I say, when I went to Vegas, my sole focus, apart from obviously trying to get more content, because that's ultimately what I was there for, to try and get that to that next level, I wanted to get there to find someone that I could start, you know, doing Google Hangouts with and start building, because this is the thing that I needed to start adapting to my online business, and that was something that I needed. I knew I needed, but I needed that push, not necessarily just because I knew I would do it, but see, the problem that I have as well is I suffer with I'm trying to fix it, but I have a big memory problem, and when it comes to try and get everything down on paper, I'm not necessarily going to remember everything. So I'd often enough be flicking around and I'd lose myself, and that's why I work better with these guys, bouncing ideas off each other, and that's, for me, was another thing, one of the biggest problems I have, and it's, in some respects, it's a fear that I have, because I don't want to seem like I'm, I don't like it to be known that I have a memory problem. So I try and adapt as best as I can to it, and this is ultimately why I try and liaise with people, because it works better for me. I can't just reel information off. I'll give it 10 seconds and I won't remember anything beyond that, because my memory, I haven't created something to help me with that. So, but yeah, sorry, anyway, just went off on a bit of a tangent there. But yeah, so I went there with the sole focus of trying to find someone to help me get me to the next level. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I needed to start doing Google Hangouts and adapt that within my marketing. But I needed somebody that I could try and assist me with that. Some people that I could do one with, and we share a common goal, and that's what I went there for. And like I say, lo and behold, the last person I actually spoke to was Andre and Ian, two last people I spoke to literally before I got into the taxi to come back to the UK. And lo and behold, these are the two people I'm actually going to hang out with. Obviously, we ended up Andre ended up meeting Patricia, and Patricia said she also wanted to do Hangouts too. So, Patricia's on here too. But like I said, we're all there. We wanted to do it, and it just took that chance meeting. But I went there with that thing. That's what I wanted. I didn't care if I got anything else. Obviously, I got help a lot more with my notes and the lessons I learned and the people that I met. But that, for me, was the biggest thing that I wanted. I didn't care if I got anything else. That is what I wanted, and that's what I walked away from. So when you go into company events, what is it that you feel that that will take you to the next level? So maybe you want to, as Patricia mentioned, maybe you want to start talking to leaders. So maybe you want to ask them a few questions. Maybe you want to get them on a video, or help them with perhaps one of the actual company, Chris Jones, he's actually joint holding this company event coming up with our founder Dave Wood, and he's actually said if you get 5 people to that event, then he would happily sit there with you and do a video as part of your marketing funnel. Now, not many leaders will do that, but there are some that will. So I'm not suggesting for 1 second that you go there and you hound people to do it. Ask the question, because you never know what they might say. I did actually ask one when I was in Vegas a little bit earlier in this year, and he said yes. But unfortunately, I couldn't get back to him in time to get it sorted. But the point is, I asked the question. I didn't want to be rude and just go up to him and say, let's do it. Because I like to be aware of what they've got going off, in their life, people that are around them. I don't want to just barge up and say, let's do it, because it's quite rude. So I thought if I can get to him, I'll do it. But if I can't, at the end of the day, I just have to accept. I just can't get to him. It will happen another time. But I asked the question, and he said, yeah, if you got a video, let's do it now. If you haven't, give me a shout and we'll do it another time. So I asked the question, and that was it for me. So, if you want to get there, get leaders on a video. Maybe you've got a burning question that you want to ask someone. Maybe there's something that you need. Maybe it's a collaboration to find someone to start doing something with. Whatever it is you want to do, you've got to be clear. Clear with your goal. You've got to be clear with what you want to achieve from a particular outcome. So if you're shooting a video, what do you want to achieve with that video? If you're going to an event, what do you want to achieve from that event? Say anything. Be clear. What do you want? Because if you go in there with an open mind, that's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either, because you can easily get swayed either which way. If you're not clear in your focus of where you want to go, what you want to do, you can get pulled right, left, and centre. Because somebody can say, I'm doing this, and you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And somebody says, oh, I'm doing that. That sounds like a good idea. And you've got, by the end of it, you're kind of like thinking, well, I don't really feel like I've achieved much, because you didn't have a clear vision to start with. So if you're clear in what you want to do to start with, I just think that's what I'm there for. I don't care if I get anything else. Make sure you get what you went there for, because you don't be walking away thinking, you know what, I really wish I'd have done that. That's the one thing I hate in life, when you sit there and think, you know what, I really wish I'd have done that. and I don't like it. So I make sure that whenever I do something, I don't look back and think, you know what, I wish I'd have done that. So I always be clear. If I'm going to an event, doesn't matter. I'm always prepared. I know exactly what I want to do, and I have it written down. Like I said, I can't expect to keep it up here because it can be the simplest thing. I will forget it. I try and keep too much up here and think I'll remember it, recite it. The slightest thing that throws me in, somebody comes in and says, "Hey Neil, how you doing?" Gone. My memory's gone, and it's lost my trail of thought, and it won't come back to me. It might do, but probably won't happen for a couple of days. And you know, it's only something simple like that just throws me completely, catches me off guard. My attention just goes away from what I was doing, and I can't get it back. So I write everything down, and that's why I'm very, very, I won't say organised, but I keep everything written down. If you see me next to me, I've got 4 notepads, I've got pieces of paper literally everywhere with ideas of what I'm going to do, and that's the reason why. Because when it comes to me, I write it down because I know that if I don't write it down, it will come back to me. I know it will, but when? I don't know. It might come back to me in a month.
Neil, that is not unusual. I mean, I would say that I know you do have a memory problem, and you definitely were brave enough to bring that out on another hangout that we did, and that's very commendable. But having notes everywhere is beneficial. I must have like 10 notepads too that I've gone through, and I'm still filling up with things, and because we have to be organized in our business, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. You know, setting your intention, and like I said, why are we there? Why are we at an event? Have, you know, maybe again focus on 3 things that you really want to get out of that convention, or sorry, event when you're there. And I mean, you may have 10 things total, but take them and break them down. We're there for 3 days, so if you've achieved the first 3 major things, that's wonderful. And then, you know, the other 2 days that you are there, then maybe try to focus on some of the minor things. Like, for instance, my intention this time is when we all get together, my intention is I want to make our video together. We did do one before. It was myself, Andre, and you. Now we got to pin down Ian. We got to pin him down. And what we would really like to do is our promo video for our Overcoming the Odds. That's one of the major things I want to do. I have a few leaders that I still want to take some pictures with, not necessarily videos. If I do get a video, of course I want to, and then of course with David Wood, if I could pin him down. I only have one picture with him that I ran through the security guards that he had at the time at one event, and I said, I've got to take a picture with you for my upline, you know, who has cancer, you know, I've got to get one. And he was going through a door, and I went, you know, out of the reach of everyone, and I followed him. He says, come with me. So I came with him, and I was so nervous I only snapped one picture. You know, so make a long story short, have your intentions and your goals of what you want to do, and those lists that you make Neil, don't feel bad. I mean, we all do it because we're all scatterbrained. I mean, if we were perfect, we could remember things like that. And the older you get, you know, the more and more you definitely need to write the stuff down.
Well, it makes you feel a bit better, to be honest. I often think that maybe I've got too many notepads, but you know, it's well, like I said, I like to write everything down, because at least that way I know it's there. Then I don't have to.
And you have a trail, because you can go back and see what you've done, what you've accomplished. You can check mark it off or cross it out, and you feel good when you say, oh wow, I did all of those 10 things that were on the list, you know, and or whatever you haven't accomplished and you haven't finished, you know that you can go back and get to it, you know. So don't feel bad.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking a handful of notes and leaving stuff, you know, all over the place, you know, even on pieces of paper too, even on the back. So, you know, this stuff to remind myself as well. But
yeah.
That's what we wanted to bring up too.
Wait, here, look, can you see that? That's today's note. That's today's thing. Some things are crossed out and some are not. Okay, but yeah, and that's just today. I have one from the day before and the day before, and I'm adding them. So don't worry about that. But back to events. You know, just join us. Join us. Click that link below.
Yes, and it's only less than 5 hours too till the tickets going to be off completely. This is only going for tonight because they're not going on sale next week. So that's the reason why we're kind of stressing urgency right now too. Is as far as just come and join our team as well to do some special stuff too. Just a heads up too. We won't be having this next week because we will be in Vegas too. We might try to squeeze one in. I don't know, but I mean. For some of us coming from like East Coast to the West Coast time zone, we'll see. We shall see. But in all honesty, we'll be in
We can still
in
do
the
one,
session Friday.
not on Friday, but maybe on Saturday or Sunday or whatever. You know, because I'm not getting in until late, but that's another story.
Yeah, possibly. Like I say, because we do have a lot of stuff too, and a lot of goodies we're gonna be told here at our company event. So again, like we said earlier tonight, first thing first, get to your company event too. Then keep an open mind too, so you're gonna accept some of the stuff that some of the leaders are taking too, and then just basically just have a clear intent, as Neil said. So you're like, okay, so you're not feeling overwhelmed or whatever too. Like I wasn't too overwhelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed at all for this last event because I already came in with a clear intent. I always come with an intent of picking up 2 new things every time. I kid you not, my second event I went to here at this company, I was thinking. My intent was thinking this was my intent, and it's kind of a negative side too. But I was like, I'm not gonna take one note here. I don't need to take anything. I took 5 pages of note when I got there, front and back. So I mean, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen too. That's what happens when really you really made it up in your mind subconsciously to as far as when to have an open mind to receive some information too, and then you can go and share that content out to your audience. So that's the crucial thing as far as that too. Again, step 1, get there, and then everything as we just mentioned earlier too, just follow in place. So again, click that link that says yes, let me in to join our team. Where you can see the iPad system to help better brand your business as well too. And again, if you don't have a business for yourself, it's your start as well, and they'll help you as far as intents, as far as what you possibly need, as far as income goal per month to get to where you're trying to reach for, whatever goal you're trying to shoot. Because it's not so much the money; it's what you do with the money, obviously too, is, to really make something happen within your own life too, and the success you want to have. So again. We won't be here next week, 2 weeks from today. So that would be, if I'm not mistaken, let me look at the calendar. That would be on August. Let's see first.
8th.
Yeah.
No, 7th.
The August.
7th.
Yeah, August 7th. Next Friday. Not next Friday. August 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern time. This time zone. Or 11 p.m. over there in the UK, 3 p.m. Pacific time. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. To as far as that, hey, again, join us tonight. We dare you to see us too in Vegas next week. Only $97 for the tickets too, and so you can see what we're talking about too, as far as just the community that we have within our team. So that being said, look forward to seeing you there too next week and in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Yeah.